Good morning, good morning, good morning. James, good morning. David and Michelle. David, you and I are going to have to talk, brother, because we look a lot alike. We're both bald, both got long white beards. Of course, I had this cool design here that Yah gave me. I had somebody ask me, I've actually had a few people ask me if I do this on purpose. And I was like, nope. I just got, Yah just blessed me with a cool design beard. That's what I always say. Jamie, good morning. Joyce, Scott, Jason Truitt. Good morning, everybody. Man, it's a beautiful day today. Well, one thing I want to touch on before we get into the second Proverbs today. So we are on day 2, Proverbs 2, chapter 2. But just wanted to kind of touch on today's a beautiful day, and I want to encourage you not to waste your time thinking about Xmas. Don't waste your time thinking about the pagan holiday of man and stuff, because this is still what do you call it? This is still Yom Shlishi. This is still day 3 of the week. This is Yah's day. He created this day, and we know that man perverts his days and takes certain days and declares it to belong to whatever they declare it to belong to. But it doesn't change the fact that Yah created this day. This is his day, just like yesterday was, just like tomorrow is. And enjoy what today is. It's a day that Yah has chosen us to be alive, to wake up again, to wake up and serve him and honor him and glorify him and praise him and everything. That's what today means. It's another day of his that he's given us since the beginning of time. And it's our choice of how we choose to look at this day. I've been guilty of it. It's like, I hate this day. And this morning, as I was getting ready and showering and everything, it just, sometimes you just kind of have a ding ding moment, light bulb over the head. Of course, the cord wouldn't go that far, so it kind of ruined my thing I was going to do. But you just kind of have a ding ding moment. It's his day. It belongs to him. So have a blessed day today. Be blessed. If you're off because of man's pagan holiday, then that's your blessing because of their foolishness. Scripture talks about that Yah saves up the riches of the wicked and gives them to the righteous. So they want to have their pagan holiday, then some of us get that day off with pay. And that works for me. So, all right, so let's get into it here. All right, let's see. Good morning, Sunny Babu. I hope I said that right. Cassandra, good morning. Harold Rounds, good morning. Treasure, good morning. Michael Ortega. Yes, amen, Treasure. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. Nick Sayre, good morning. All right, so here we go. Proverbs chapter 2. My son, if you receive my words and treasure my commands within you. Man, right out the gate. If you receive my words and treasure my commands within you, so that you incline your ear to wisdom, and apply your heart to understanding. Yes, if you cry out for discernment and lift up your voice for understanding, if you seek her as silver and search for her as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of Yehovah and find the knowledge of Elohim. For Yehovah gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk uprightly. He guards the paths of justice and preserves the way of his saints. Then you will understand righteousness and justice, equity, and every good path. When wisdom enters your heart and knowledge is pleasant to your soul, discretion will preserve you, understanding will keep you, to deliver you from the way of evil, from the man who speaks perverse things, from those who lead the paths of uprightness, to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice in doing evil and delight in the perversity of the wicked, whose ways are crooked and who are devious in their paths, to deliver you from immoral women, from the seductress who flatters with her words, who forsakes the companion of her youth and forgets the covenant of her El. For her house leads down to death and her paths to the dead. None who go to her return, nor do they regain the paths of life. So you may walk in the way of goodness and keep to the paths of righteousness. For the upright will dwell in the land, and the blameless will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the earth, and the unfaithful will be uprooted from it. Oh, I kind of love doing Proverbs. You know, once in a while I'll quote a Proverbs verse or have a verse or two added into a sermon, but man, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. Proverbs is like spiritual poetry that feeds the soul, that nurtures. I mean, just, I don't know about you, but as I sit here and I read it out loud, I feel like it's literally just pouring into my heart, into my spirit. It just feels like it's feeding the fibers of my body. You know what I'm saying? You love the word so much. And I love the way it starts off. My son, if you receive my words and treasure my commands within you. Isn't that what it's all about, Mishpachah? Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing in this walk and with Yehovah? Isn't that what this all means? Is that we receive his words. And what is his words? Everything from Genesis to Revelation. And the foundation being his Torah. Those are his words. And treasure his commands within us. Treasure them. And it's verses like that makes me just go, how in the world could the church or anybody ever think that the word of Yehovah, that his commands ever are done away with? When you have Yah leading people to write like this, with such, I mean, it could have just said, my son, keep my words and keep my commands. Okay, that's still powerful if you take it back to the Hebrew and break down the word keep in Hebrew and stuff like that. It means to guard, to protect. But I mean, it's from the Hebrew, my son, if you receive, you take in, it's like we receive food, we eat it goes into our body and it nourishes us, right? we receive his words, that it's nourishment, it's the essence of our existence, is because he spoke and we became. He spoke and we became. Then he breathed his ruach into us and we became a living being. To me, that's just a more powerful, deeper understanding of the kind of personal, intimate relationship with him. Amen. And treasure my commands within you. He's saying, do to my commands as I have claimed I will do to you. Exodus 19:5. If you heed my voice and keep my covenant, obey my covenant, actually, Shema. If you heed my voice and obey my covenant, then you will be a special treasure unto me above all people. And so we look at this and it's like, my son, if you receive my words, my devarim, my words, his words, there are no other words like his words, and treasure my commands within you. Are we not supposed to look upon his word, Mishpachah? I tell you the truth, unless you come unto me like a child, you shall not see the kingdom of heaven. These were Yehovah Yeshua's words. Are we not supposed to come unto his words like this with that childlike excitement and joy? You know, one of the things early in my walk, when I dedicated my life to Yah, the whole first year of my walk, every single day I prayed, Father, please let me fall in love with you more and more every day. Let me fall in love with you more and more every day. That's what my prayer was every day. And Mishpachah, he answered my prayer. And I fell in love with him in a way I never thought I would be able to understand. But within the first couple years of my walk and my dedication, I actually had a pastor come to me and tell me that I needed to curb my passion. And I looked at him, and it's stuff like that. It's people like that that destroy the spirit inside of somebody, that break that. But I was too rebellious to listen. I looked at him, I was like, are you nuts? Are you high? What's the matter with you? How do you tell somebody to curb their passion for the one who suffered and died for them? How in the world could you possibly, in any right mind, tell somebody curb their passion when it comes to Yah? And of course, he got really upset, turned around and walked away. And I only hope that it convicted him and maybe woke him up. And I told him, I said, maybe you need to find some passion. But it's, after all these years, still walking in Yah. And I read his word, Mishpachah, and I read verses like this. I read chapters like this. I want to read these first five verses again. My son, if you receive my words and treasure my commands within you, so that you incline your ear to wisdom and apply your heart to understanding. Yes, if you cry out for discernment, cry out to him, Mishpachah, cry out to him, and lift up your voice for understanding. If you seek her as silver and search for her as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of Yehovah and find the knowledge of Elohim. And to this day, Mishpachah, and as seasoned as Yah has been making me, and everything I'm learning and understanding in that personal relationship with him, especially these last couple of years, man, he is, in my personal walk, he's done so much in me. Man, I come to him more like a child than ever before. And I will not curb my passion. Not for anybody. Not for any reason. I won't do it. They can all go jump off a cliff. Because Mishpachah, I tell you, Yah doesn't have verses like this written for us to be all nonchalant and disconnected and non-emotional. Now, we don't live by our emotions. We don't make decisions and react by our emotions. We don't let our emotions control us. But our emotions is what, when properly in order, is what Yah uses to keep us fired up. He moves in our spirit, which affects our emotions. And when we read, my son, if you receive my words and treasure my commands within you. And you just keep reading. For his mouth, verse 6, for Yehovah gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge, understanding. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk uprightly. He guards the paths of justice and preserves the way of his saints. Then you will understand righteousness and justice, equity, and every good path. When wisdom enters your heart and knowledge is pleasant to your soul, pleasant to your soul. And this isn't knowledge, Mishpachah, book smarts. This isn't about how many verses you can memorize or how many words you know in Hebrew or stuff like that. That's not the knowledge that this is talking about. This is a spiritual knowledge. This is a understanding and a that can only come from that personal, intimate relationship with him. I say this all the time, and Mishpachah, I mean it, and I will say it to my last breath. Our number one focus in our walk has to be our personal, intimate relationship with Yehovah Yeshua. It has to be. Because that relationship is based off of our obedience, is based off of our salvation, is based off of our closeness with him, based off of our calling his word a delight, his Shabbat a delight, his Moedim a delight, that we look forward to everything that we can do in him. We look forward to every Sabbath we get to spend with him. We look forward to every feast we get to keep. We look forward to him taking us out of our comfort zone to use us anywhere that he sees fit. That, Mishpachah, is that knowledge and wisdom. It's when we look forward to Yehovah taking and using us. And that's not just sitting here and doing nothing. And when I hear people who claim to be living in Yah for 10, 20, 30 years, and they're like, I don't want to go do nothing. I don't want to go anywhere. I'm happy right where I'm at. It's like, how? I don't get that. Now, if he's using you where you're at, I get that. But if you're just sitting around, just kind of like the one with the one talent went and buried it and just hung out till master came back, That sucks. There's nothing in that. But the joy and excitement, that personal relationship, and the closer we get in that, the greater we grow in this. He says, where's it at? He stores up sound wisdom for the upright, Mishpah. He stores it up. And then in James chapter 1, he says, for he who asks for wisdom, I will give it to him liberally. He gives it. It's not something that we have to earn. It's not something that it's not the kind of wisdom that in this kind of life that we learn from experience. This is a different type of wisdom, Mishpah. This is a wisdom that pertains to him. A discernment, so that way when you got Satan coming and trying to talk in your ear and trying to, what's the word? People who can mimic of other people's voices. My assistant pastor Anthony, man, he's really good at doing Arnold Schwarzenegger. Get into the helicopter. I'm going to try. It was going to sound awful. But you know what I mean? What's the word? It mimics, but impersonator. That's what I was trying to think of. A voice impersonator. Y'all are laughing at me. But when Satan tries to come as an impersonator, an imposter, he tries to sound like Jehovah. But Mishpah, when and as it says in James, it says, let him ask in faith and not doubt, for he who doubts is double-minded and is unstable in all of his ways and will receive nothing. And in verses 2 through 8, I believe it is, or 3 through 8, James 1. And Mishpah, that's when we have that wisdom that Yah wants to give us liberally and abundantly. That wisdom is the wisdom that powerfully affects our relationship with him. So that when we know where to move, it's so easy to hear. And it's not like he's talking out loud like I'm talking to you. He didn't have to. When he speaks to us in our spirit through his Ruach HaKodesh, through the helper. And he says, Paul, any one of you, Leona, Cassandra, Jeff, Pamela, Treasure, when he says, go here. Because of that wisdom, that relationship, it's like, I know that's Yah. I don't need to say, thus saith the Lord. Just need to do. You start preparing the field. Because when Yah tells you to move, it doesn't always mean that very second. It may be a year down the road, maybe a few years down the road. When we got back from Israel in 2009, we knew we're supposed to be in the land permanently. And Yah took the next 10 years to get us ready. When David was told he would be king of Israel, it was 20 years before he became king. Everything was a preparation ground from that time he was anointed as king to the time he became king. The time that Samuel anointed him as the future king. And it's the same thing with us, Mishpah. Sometimes Yah tells us stuff because in our baby years, because we're so in tune to him, because we have just given our life over to him and everything, we're so in tune to him, the enemy hasn't had a chance to come in and start putting a cloud over stuff through people and things. We've become so in tune. And we'll hear him share with us things that he plans on doing with us. And then, unfortunately, sometimes we run with it and we don't pray and say, okay, Father, when do you want this? But like I said, long story short, because I'm just rambling now, we've been preparing to go back to Israel. And now we know. And now we are leaving. And now we are going. And already the doors are being opened up. Things are being set up, put into place. And because we're listening to his leading. And Mishpachah, it all comes from this. It all comes from stuff like Proverbs chapter 2. So with that said, I encourage you, Mishpachah, go and read that chapter again today. Read it, meditate on it. Let it fill your heart and your mind and your spirit. Let it fill you. Ask Yah to fill you with that special wisdom and knowledge that it talks about in that chapter. Ask him to fill you. And if you've never prayed this, ask Yah to help you to fall in love with him more and more every day, to where the desire and the ache is to be in his presence at all times. And Mishpachah, he will do that. He will answer it gladly, because that's all he wants. That's what he created us for. He created us for his pleasure. He created us that we would desire and hunger to be with him as he does us. We know that he desires to be with us. He died to show it, to prove it, to save us. So may we seek the same in return. Amen. So Mishpachah, I will be coming back on later on this afternoon. Because I have a message in my heart, and since I'm not going to be preaching for the next couple Shabbats, because my wife's she's going to be doing a message this Shabbat, and then Anthony's going to be preaching next Shabbat. This message I want to share, and it's titled, "What Do Your Words Mean?" And it's time for us to, well, it's always time for us to step it up more, Mishpachah. It's always time for us to take it to the next level in our walk, to fine-tune ourselves, so that we're ready for what's coming, because Mishpachah, it's coming fast. Things are changing. Stuff that's going on over there right now and everything, it is prophecy being fulfilled. So, sorry. So Mishpachah, I love you all. I pray you have a blessed day, and I hope you all can join me this afternoon. But whether you do or don't, Yah loves you more. Shalom, shalom.